Gurudev, and all glories to this most wonderful day of Nityananda Trayodasi. This whole week is very auspicious, starting with Advaitacharya's appearance day, then Madhvacharya's disappearance, then Ramanujacharya's disappearance, then Ekadashi, followed by Varahadvadashi, and today Nityananda Trayodasi. So extremely auspicious this whole week, and starts off all the festivities in Mayapur, which will go on for a month. So the atmosphere is full of celebration with the appearance of Lord Nityananda, who is none other than Balaram. And all of us are trying to welcome the Lord into our hearts because we have suffered separation for so many uncountable lifetimes. So today's verse is actually about how acutely the devotees of the Lord feel separation from the Lord. Of course, we cannot even understand that because we are not even feeling separation from the Lord. We have forgotten what it is like to be with the Lord. What to speak of feeling separation from Him. So we have a long ways to go. But this is a very nice verse where Mother Earth, if you will remember, this chapter is entitled How Parikshit Maharaj Received Kali. It begins with glorification of Parikshit Maharaj, how he was a great devotee, how astrologers foretold of his great personality as well as his great activities, and then how he ruled, what a saintly rule he was undertaking. Then as he was going around his provinces, he saw a Shudra beating the legs of a cow and a bull, and then Mother Cow is answering to Dharma, the father bull, who is the personification of religion, and she's answering his questions, and we are we are at the end. 35 and 36 are the last two verses of this chapter, which is a really phenomenal chapter because that conversation between Father Bull and Mother Earth, personification of religion and Mother Earth, is a gold standard for understanding so many things that happen in our lives. That conversation is really very, very powerful, very illuminating, very purifying. So with that background, we will begin. I will say the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So again, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 16, verse number 35. Kava Saheta Viraham Purushottamasya Premavaloka Ruchirasmitaval Gujalpai Stairyam Samanam Aharan Madhumaninam Romotsavo Mama Yadangri Vitankitayaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Who therefore can tolerate the pangs of separation from that Supreme Personality of Godhead? He could conquer the gravity and passionate wrath of his sweethearts like Satyabhama by his sweet smile of love, pleasing glance, and hearty appeals. When he traversed my earth's surface, I would be immersed in the dust of his lotus feet, and thus would be sumptuously covered with grass, which appeared like hair standing on me out of pleasure. Purport. There were chances of separation between the Lord and his thousands of queens because of the Lord's being absent from home. But as far as his connection with earth was concerned, the Lord would traverse the earth with his lotus feet, and therefore there was no chance of separation. When the Lord left the surface of the earth to return to his spiritual abode, the earth's feelings of separation were therefore more acute. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sakana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Chandramauli Swami Niti Namini Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So again, I welcome everyone to our daily class. At the same time, I humbly request the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis so that I may perform this service which has been given to me in a manner that is very pleasing to the Vaishnavas, Guru and Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patita nam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So, feelings of separation become very acute when the love is very deep, profound, and what to say, real, genuine. So, Lord Chaitanya epitomized these feelings of separation because he had come in the mood of Radharani. And wherever he was, he would be just calling out, Krishna, Krishna, hey Govinda. Once, because he was feeling so much separation from Krishna, he mistook a sand dune on the beach in Orissa. He mistook a sand dune and ran after that, thinking it is Govardhan Parvat, in feelings of transcendental madness. He was absorbed in ecstatic love, and therefore he saw that Govardhan, that sand dune as Govardhan hill, and began running towards it, calling, hey Govinda, hey Krishna. And he was seeing all the cows, the calves, the river Yamuna, and the beautiful Govardhan hill with her beautiful trees, beautiful trees, caves, waterfalls, gopas, gopis, the cows, the calves, the rivers, the rivulets, the waterfalls. And he was feeling so much ecstasy that he was just running, calling out, Krishna, Krishna. Once he was asking Gadadhar Pandit, where is Krishna? Where is my Krishna? And so Gadadhar Pandit, patience, my Lord, patience, he's in your heart. And so Lord Chaitanya began tearing his heart open. He started tearing his chest open because he wanted to see the Lord. And he was so vehement about finding the Lord within his heart. He started tearing at his chest with his nails. And Gadadhar Pandit had to restrain him. He said, patience, my Lord, patience. So seeing this beautiful handling of Lord Chaitanya, Mother Sachi told Gadadhar, now you should always remain with him because only you can pacify the Lord. And who is Gadadhar? None other than Radharani. So, why is Krishna so attractive? His name itself means all attractive. The beauty of Krishna is so overwhelming that it is the perfection of eyes just to see Krishna. And once you see Krishna, you do not want to stop seeing Krishna because he is so beautiful. Venum kvanantam aravinda dalayataksham varhavatam samasitam buddha sundarangam kandarpakoti kamaniya vishesha shobham govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma, after meditating for 1,000 years, realized Krishna within his heart. And when he saw that beautiful form of Krishna, he composed this beautiful Brahma Samhita. And one of the verses is this particular verse, which we sing every morning. in the temple Govindam prayers, famous Govindam prayers sung by Mother Yamuna. And what is the translation? I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who's adept in playing on his flute, with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with a head decked with peacock feather, and the figure of beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids. See how beautiful the description of Krishna is. Vedic writings say that Krishna has a stunningly beautiful spiritual form. Krishna means all attractive, as we said. He plays a flute, his transcendental flute. Once he plays, everyone is completely bewitched, hypnotized, stunned, mesmerized. Like figures in a painting, they just stand still. The calves stop drinking milk. The deer stop just where they are, just listening to the sound of the flute. This is how sweet the flute playing is. His complexion is like a dark rain cloud. He wears peacock feathers in his long, black, dark, curling hair. The soles of his feet, which are reddish in color, are decorated with auspicious symbols. And there's a unique gem called Kastub gem, which hangs around his neck, which is always decorated with a garland of fresh flowers, attracting bees which are singing the Vedic hymns, humming the Vedic hymns. What a beautiful picture this is, isn't it? So, Krishna is all strength, all wealth, all beauty, all wisdom, all renunciation, and one more, strength, wealth, and all, I said wealth, strength, wealth, beauty, wisdom, fame, and renunciation. Why? Because he's God. He's Bhagavan, full of 6 opulences. So, separation from him is very, very painful, because one who has experienced the beauty of the Lord, his association cannot give it up. Cannot give it up. It is very difficult to give up the association of Krishna. Remember in the Dhruva Maharaj pastime, Dhruva Maharaj had become absorbed, so deeply absorbed in trance that he was constantly seeing the presence of the Lord in his heart. But when the Lord wanted to give him darshan, what did the Lord do? He disappeared from his heart. So Dhruva became very perturbed and he opened his eyes and there was the Lord standing in front of him. It's so sweet. I'll just read that little bit because it is so beautiful. Dhruva Maharaj was constantly observing the form of the personality of Godhead within his heart. But all of a sudden, when the Supreme Personality disappeared from his heart, he thought that he had lost him. Dhruva Maharaj was perturbed, but upon opening his eyes and breaking his meditation, he saw the same form of the Lord before him. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. A saintly person who has developed love of Godhead by devotional service always sees the Lord's transcendental form of Shyamasundar. So, even the gopis, what do they say about the eyelids? Because the eyelids blink, what do? They curse Brahma for creating such eyelids. Srila Prabhupada gives this description in the 10th canto, 31st chapter, 15th verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the exact words, and I will read it out. My dear Krishna, during the daytime, when you go out into the forest of Vrindavan with your cows, we consider one moment to be like 12 years. And it is very difficult for us to pass the time. And again, when you come back at the end of the day, seeing your beautiful face, we are so much attracted that we are unable to stop looking upon you constantly. At these times, when there's occasional blinking of our eyelids, we condemn the Creator, Lord Brahma, as a dunce because he does not know how to make perfect eyes. In other words, the gopis were disturbed by the blinking of their eyes because just for a moment, their eyes were closed, they could not see Krishna. This means that the gopis' love for Krishna was so great and ecstatic that they were disturbed by even that momentary absence. And when they saw Krishna, they were also disturbed. This is a paradox. So, gopis' love for Krishna is unmatched, unparalleled, unimitable, and unbelievable. They are willing to do anything and everything for Krishna. Such is their love. And so for them, separation from Krishna is unbearable. All they're thinking of is when can we meet Krishna? So now, as this particular purport says, that all these other devotees of the Lord, sometimes they were with the Lord and sometimes they had separation. But Mother Earth, Krishna was constantly in touch with Mother Earth throughout his pastimes here, because he was traversing, whether he was in the forest or whether he was in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj, or whether he was out pasturing the cows and the calves. His lotus feet were in constant touch with Mother Earth. She always had his association. So now that he had left, she was feeling great pangs of separation from him. This is very difficult for Mother Earth to bear, because the presence of the Lord made everything so beautiful, so wonderful. The earth was giving so much bounty. We just saw in the previous verse that Guru Maharaj did yesterday. All of creation, the hills, the rivers, the mountains, the streams, the trees, all of creation was absolutely overjoyed and ecstatic, and they were fulfilling all the necessities of life for all the creatures. So all the creatures were happy, not just human beings, but the birds, the bees, the butterflies, the reptiles, the fish, the aquatics, the whales, the big animals in the forest. Everyone was supremely happy because the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, was personally present, and therefore all the elements were absolutely overjoyed and happy to give service to the Lord in whatever way or form or shape they were in. So therefore the earth became even more splendorous than any other in all the three planetary systems. Actually, Earth is in the middle planetary system, but she became more opulent and more, profuse in producing her bounty than any other planet. Why? Because Krishna was there. So this is the power of having the association of the Supreme Lord. Because of his very presence, everything becomes auspicious, blissful, peaceful, joyful, and all living entities become overjoyed, because Krishna is what? Satchit Ananda Vigraha, eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. So Lord Krishna, and of course, he has to take care of all his different wives, as it is said here in the translation, Satyabhama. Satyabhama was a very special queen. We are going to say a few words about her because our host is named after her. Now, Satyabhama was not like Rukmini. She was very hot-tempered. She was very jealous. She was very possessive. She was wrathful, as it is said over here. And she was passionate. So Krishna had to handle her differently. So because he knew the nature of his wife, when he had to fight Narakasur, he actually took Satyabhama with him. And the sages say, let me see if I can find it. He took his wife along because he wanted his adventurous wife to have a novel experience. Okay, let's, maybe I can screen share this one. Is that all right, Satyabhama?
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Okay, let me screen share this particular one because it is so interesting how Krishna knows how to handle each one of his wives according to their natures. And this is something for all of us to learn, that all of us have different natures. So it's not one size fits all, you know. You have to learn how to interact with different people in different ways according to their natures in order to bring out the best in everyone. That is an art, that is a science, and that is a skill, that's a talent that we must pray to Krishna to help us and to help others, so that we can all unitedly serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead very nicely. Okay, I'm still not able to screen host disabled participant screen sharing. So
Okay, let me make you. I forgot. I'll make you co-host. Yeah,
co-host, and
yeah,
then I can
gone.
screen share. Okay, maybe now I can get it. Yeah. This is in the 10th canto, chapter 59, where Krishna goes to retrieve the earrings taken of Mother Aditi and various other things. We will not focus on that. What is interesting is how Satyabhama went on Garuda. Can everyone see this?
Yeah, yes, Mataji.
Okay. Now, Bhamasur or Narkasur had stolen the earrings belonging to Aditi, Indra's mother, along with Varuna's umbrella and the demigod's playground at the peak of Mandar mountain. Indra then went to complain, Lord Krishna, and informed him of these misdeeds. The Lord, taking his wife Satyabhama with him, then rode on Garuda to Pragyotishpura, which was surrounded on all sides by fortifications consisting of hills, unmanned weapons, water, wind, fire, and by obstruction of the Mura Pasha wire. So, now let's read the purport. The Acharyas have explained in various plausible ways why Lord Krishna took his wife Satyabhama with him. Srila Sridhar Swami begins by saying that the Lord wanted to give his adventurous wife a novel experience. Hopefully, Vrindavan Dham is hearing this, and thus took her to the scene of this extraordinary battle. Also, Lord Krishna had once granted the blessing to Bhumi, earth goddess, that he would not kill her demoniac son without her permission. Since Bhumi is an expansion of Satyabhama, the latter could authorize Krishna to do the needful with the unusually nasty Bhaumasur. Finally, Satyabhama had been miffed when Narad Muni brought a celestial Parijat flower to Queen Rukmini. To pacify Satyabhama, Lord Krishna had promised her, I will give you a whole tree of these flowers. And thus the Lord scheduled this procurement of a heavenly tree within his itinerary. So that was part of the agenda. Even nowadays, devoted husbands take their wives shopping. And thus Lord Krishna took Satyabhama to the heavenly planets to get a heavenly tree, as well as to retrieve the goods that Bhaumasur had stolen and return them to their rightful owners. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti notes that in the heat of battle, Queen Satyabhama would naturally become anxious for Lord Krishna's safety and pray for the battle to end. Thus, she would readily give permission to Krishna to kill the son of her expansion Bhumi, that is Narakasur. And she does that. She said, kill him at once. In the battlefield, she does that. So this is Satyabhama, and I'm just speaking a little bit because the translation shows how Krishna handled his different wives differently. And of course, we are talking about separation from the Lord, which is very acute when those who love him are separated from him. They cannot tolerate that separation. They cannot bear that separation because there is such deep love and such a deep connection and such intimate dealings between the Lord and his dear devotees that some of them even give up their bodies because they cannot bear that separation. For example, the first wife of Lord Chaitanya, Lakshmi Priya, she could not bear separation from the Lord when the Lord went to Gaya and she was bitten by the snake bite of separation and she gave up her body. On return, the Lord married Vishnu Priya, but even she had to suffer separation from the Lord for almost 80 years of her life. She was married, and at 16, the Lord left home. He was 24. And then she continued to live in separation from the Lord. But because she was pleading with the Lord that how can I live without you? The Lord arranged for a very special murti. It is called Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu to be carved and given to her. And she worshipped that form of the Lord for all the days of her life. She would chant the Mahamantra practically all day long. And for every Mahamantra she recited, she would put 1 grain of rice aside. And at the end of the day, whatever rice grains were collected, that was what she would cook, offer and eat. Can you believe that? That is how devoted Vishnu Priya was. Sachimata's separation from Lord Chaitanya is heart-rending. If you read of how when the Lord takes sannyas and leaves his mother, it's such an agony of separation because Sachimata loves the Lord so dearly as her son. And finally, she pleads with him, at least you stay in Jagannath Puri so that I will get news of you. And the Lord agrees to that. Sorry. At one point, he even apologizes to her, my dear mother, you are my very life. And separating from you is so difficult. Because the Lord loves his devotees too, just as the devotees love the Lord. So these are very deep, very intimate pastimes of the Lord and the devotees. And the service and separation called Vipralamba Seva is the highest of all. And Lord Chaitanya exemplified that by his mood of loving separation from Krishna, calling out to Krishna, saying, Krishna, Krishna, where are you? So we are all encouraged to remember that actually we belong to Krishna. We are here and it's a very alien condition to be in. This is not a natural condition. We are like fish out of water here, suffering in so many different ways. This body is an embarrassment. Having this material body is actually an embarrassment because every few hours we have to go and attend to bodily needs, and any little thing happens, we have to take care of the body. We have to pay so much attention to the body, which is ultimately going to die. It's going to be finished. It's just dead matter. And the soul is forced to take on this chunk of dead matter as a covering because it wants to enjoy separate from Krishna in this material world. So here we are, struggling in this material body with diseases, old age, death, and repeated birth, which you have done millions of times. And we are thinking this is life. But this is not life. This is actually a frightful life. This is a very difficult alien condition we have put ourselves into. Our real condition is full of bliss, full of knowledge and eternality. We never grow old, we never die, we never have diseases, we have no anxiety, we do not suffer. That is our real nature. Srila Prabhupada says in Bhagavad Gita 15th chapter verse 6, in that purport, he says one should know about the spiritual world and one should be captivated by this information and one should want to transfer himself to that spiritual world, which is our real home. So unless we read about it, unless we hear about it, unless we discuss it, unless we plan to get there, unless we make our activities goal-oriented, how are we going to get there? It's not possible. So therefore, this hearing, Shravanam, is very, very important. Hearing about the supreme spiritual abode of the Lord, because Krishna is so anxious, like a loving father. He's very anxious for his children to come back to him because that is where there is real peace. Srila Prabhupada said, you want to really enjoy? Go back to the spiritual world. What we can enjoy with our material senses? They're so limited. How many rasgullas can you eat here? You can't. The body will not allow you. You want to sleep like a polar bear, your back will start aching if you sleep for 10 hours. You're forced to get up and move. You sit for too long, after some time you have to stand and move. You stand for too long, you have to sit down. You are remaining too active for too long, then you have to lie down. So like this, the body is forcing us in so many ways to do things which are not really necessary, but we have to do them. But the soul is unlimited. We can give unlimited pleasure to Krishna. Even our services, we would like to do unlimitedly in so many unlimited ways, but we cannot because we are limited by the material hand, leg, etc., brain, etc. But in our spiritual form, our service becomes unlimited. It becomes full of variety. It becomes full of bliss, and it is fully pleasing and satisfying, both to Krishna and to us. That is real life. And that is the life we are striving for through this process of Bhakti Yoga. And the best way to revive a loving connection with Krishna is to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, which is the Yuga Dharma for this age of Kali, because any other process of self-realization is just too difficult. Lord Chaitanya has made it very easy. Let them chant, let them sing, let them dance, take Krishna Prasadam and come back to me. He has made it so easy. So let us all take advantage of this wonderful process of Bhakti Yoga, which is so rare. Lord Chaitanya comes once in 1,000 cycles of the four Chaturyugas. Once in a day of Lord Brahma. That is as rare. One senior devotee was describing, imagine a very huge ocean, a vast body of water. In that vast body of water, a big plank is floating. The plank has a hole in it. What are the chances that a tortoise right down at the bottom will rise up to the surface, hit against that plank, and poke its head out of that hole? Very rare, isn't it? So he was just giving a very crude analogy. But if you think about it, the life of Brahma is 311 trillion 40 billion years. And Lord Chaitanya has come in this Kali Yuga just 500 years ago. How rare is that? And how lucky we are. So, in all the other ages, self-realization was much more difficult. It was much more elaborate because man had a longer lifespan, etc. But we are too weak, incompetent, disturbed. We are just a mess in Kali Yuga. So Lord Krishna, in his infinite kindness and mercy, just made it very simple. And Srila Prabhupada, the embodiment of Lord Chaitanya's compassion, came to make it even more simple, giving us a very easy process to attain the perfection of human life through this process of Bhakti Yoga and reunite with our beloved Lord Krishna and be with him forever and forever, never to roam again. I've wasted many precious years. Now I'm coming home. I now repent with bitter tears, but now I'm coming home. Coming home, coming home, never more to roam. Open wide thine arms of love. Krishna, I'm coming home. Haribol. All right, we'll stop there and we can open up for questions, comments.
Jai, so powerful lecture as always, Mataji. Thank you so much. You bring the light. You bring the hope. It's just amazing to hear you. I always hear you, and I can't. I don't think I'm qualified to glorify you. And you're just amazing. I feel really, really nice and encouraged and motivated, actually.
Very kind, and that is why you're tolerating my rambling and raving and ranting. The really qualified devotees give superlative classes. I'm nowhere near there.
You're too
I'm just
humble.
taking whatever little bit of realization I have and whatever is in my heart. And you're kindly tolerating all that. So for that, I'm
Don't
very
need that
grateful.
superlative classes, Mataji. This is just coming from heart. This is all. If you just learn whatever you have said in last 30-40 minutes, if you just focus on that and learn that, that will be the perfection of the life. So yeah, I think too much knowledge is not needed. This is what it is required.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you for encouraging me in my humble efforts, Satyabhama. I'm very grateful for the encouragement because I'm just a fumbling neophyte. I don't have much knowledge, nor am
You're
I
too
very
humble,
scholarly.
Mataji.
Honestly, I don't know so much Shastra. There are very, very great, lecturers here in Mayapur, as you know, very, very learned scholars, very, very erudite and very polished in their presentation. While I'm just like the village idiot.
No. You just speechless, Mataji. Devotees, if you have any questions, comments, realization, please unmute yourself or at least, at least just glorify Mataji or say something about what is being said. Just repeat.
No,
And
no, no.
nice
Please
to take your
glorify
darshan.
Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, and Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda. That is very
Glorify senior
encouraging.
devotee, Vaishnava.
It would be nice to actually see everyone if
See
possible,
everyone, yes,
very
please. If
least.
you can keep your cameras on.
That would be
And
nice.
okay, while everyone is waiting, Mataji, I have a question about you said something that serving in Vipralamba Bhav is very nice. It's it's but how do we get that
I said it's the highest.
is the
I said
highest,
it's
yes.
yeah, it is a very high state. We are just making beginning steps, baby steps. So
Mm.
we are just learning. That's a very exalted state. We can't jump to that platform immediately.
But how do we progress, Mataji? Like, separation is definitely, when we look at the deity of Krishna, like I've got my Gandharvika Girdhari standing right in front of me, and I always serve them, and I always feel that, one day they will come out of from their deity form and they'll personally will be present in front of me. But that happens only when I'm in front of them. It doesn't happen, it's not constant feeling. It just is there in the back of the mind that I wish I will one day I will see them, face to face. But I don't think I'm serving in that mood that, that one day, like, it just that feeling, that separation is not constant, because as soon as you're out of the temple room, you're out of the, you're in your mindset, you're serving everything, you're doing things different. So how do we keep our head, like, Srila Prabhupada, all of you, like, staying in Mayapur, focused in your services, you've dedicated your life. Like, how do we, us as working full time, keep us remembering Krishna all the time, thinking of him all the time? How do we do that, Mataji? It's just so difficult.
First and foremost, I must tell you that I am also like that only. I am also, the same problem is there for me also. It's not like just because in Mayapur I'm totally lost in the bliss of Krishna consciousness. The moment, I come out of the temple, or I come out of the class, or I come out of the lecture, back again to, oh, my material problem. Oh, this is not okay. That is not okay. This one is complaining. That one I have to see. I have to go to the bank. I have to get this shop. I mean, all the things of daily life just come rushing at you, because that's the nature of material energy. She wants to engulf you and make you forget Krishna. So, yes, it's a daily battle, it's a daily struggle. And as Guru Maharaj told me just the other day, beat your mind with the shoe in the morning and beat your mind with a broomstick in the night, which means basically chant. See, unless we make that part of our, daily practice, that I have to remember Krishna. I have to chant. And whenever I stray, my mind strays away, I must bring it back to Krishna. Unless we are deliberately trying, material energy will overwhelm us. And I am the same as you're saying, Satyabhama. It is no different for me. And I have to constantly remind myself, that I must remind myself about Krishna. So it's a practice, it's a process, it's not overnight, it's not going to happen overnight, but by constantly practicing and taming the mind, it is like, taming the wild beast, it doesn't happen overnight. So constantly, slowly, then we start thinking more and more about Krishna and less about other things. And then the smaranam becomes fixed, and then samadhi. So those are all very advanced stages. We are still struggling just to chant our rounds properly. Even while chanting our rounds, we can't remember Krishna. What to speak of when we are not chanting our rounds? Even when chanting, the mind is all over the place, isn't it? It is such a difficult thing to pull the mind back again and focus on Krishna. That is why we need association of devotees. That is why we need to chant in the association of devotees. We need to hear constantly about Krishna, the process of bhakti yoga, devotional service, our real home. Because without that, Maya, ready. She just comes like a tidal wave and we are swept away, isn't it? And it's hours before we think of Krishna. A whole day, whole 2 days, 3 days. Oh my God, I haven't even thought about Krishna. What have I done? Busy with my problems. So this is the nature of this material world. It is very difficult. And only by striving very sincerely, working on the orders of Guru Maharaj, striving to fulfill those orders, then there is some hope for us. So it's a process, and we are likely it's only natural to stumble and fall because we are like babies learning to crawl. But as we keep going, the day will come when we will walk. Isn't it? Like that. So we have to keep going. We have to encourage each other, help each other. It doesn't help that life has become so difficult in Kali Yuga. Just to live, we have to become wage slaves. That means we have to give our life 8-10 hours a day just for a paycheck. That is why Guru Maharaj keeps talking about farm communities, coming together, living simply. growing our own food, having a cow, taking her milk, making life very simple so that we can focus more on spiritual life. Our jobs is, I've been through that phase. Very difficult because you're just in the material energy, you're surrounded by non-devotees. It's like so difficult. So that's why Guru Maharaj is telling us, encouraging us so much, because progress becomes very difficult when we are combating with so many negative elements. Kali Yuga is like that. What to do?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. That was very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll try to remember more and chant more, chant more.
Yeah, chanting is key.
Devotees, any other questions? Today everyone is quiet. I'm surprised. We always get few questions at least.
And why is everybody off camera? I'm wondering whether they just are so disgusted with me that they don't want to put on their cameras or what.
Nice class. Hare Krishna, Shilpesh Prabhu.
Okay, there's hope for me. I don't have to commit suicide. Silpesh showed up.
Oh, everyone is showing up. That's nice.
Thank you.
It's a very rainy, dreary day here, so we're all half asleep. That's a problem.
Sorry, I can't hear what you said.
It's raining and it's very dark and
Oh.
dull today, so I think we're all half asleep.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And I put you
Yes.
fully to sleep. If you were half asleep, then I put you fully into sleep.
Not at all, Mataji. Your song at the end was quite a awakening call. It was really nice.
You need to come on every day and sing to us. Jiva Jago, Jiva Jago.
I'm singing to myself actually. I'm reminding myself over here. Because really, this is not our home, This is not a place where we're supposed to just, try to make ourselves, comfortable and hunker down, and I'll make my little padded cell a little more comfortable. It's ultimately a prison cell, nothing more than that. So we have to actually seriously think, oh my God, I have done this so many times. Do I want to do it again? No, I want to go back to Krishna. I want to come back to the spiritual world where I belong. This is not where I belong. This is a prison house. I'm in jail. And I'm learning to be a good prisoner so that I can get out.
And there seems to be so much to learn.
That is so true, Raj Prabhu. So true. We are just, like little, what Isaac Newton said, I'm like a little child, picking up pebbles on the shore of this vast ocean of knowledge. So he was just talking about, scientific knowledge. Imagine spiritual knowledge. There's no end to it. And we are not even like little child. We are like little ants picking up little grains of sand here. We are very small and tiny. But because we are part and parcel of Krishna and we are in the human form of life, we have a very big responsibility. And that responsibility is to get out of the cycle of birth and death. Because we have done it so many times already. And this is the one loophole. Cats, dogs, bees, birds, reptiles, trees, they cannot do this. But we can, because we are highly evolved. We can think about the divine and we can understand the consequences of what we have done so far, which is just taken birth again. And understanding how horrible it is to take birth again, to die, to grow old, to get diseases, intelligent person thinks, why should I do this again and again? I want to perfect my life. I want to become blissful and happy even in this material life. And it's possible. Not just possible, it is highly, what to say, recommended. It is expected, especially after what Prabhupada has given us. He wants us to become more and more Krishnaized and spiritualized and taste nectar even in this material body. If you go to chapter 14 of Bhagavad Gita, verse number 20, can you pull that up for us on the screen?
Yes,
Srila
Mataji.
Prabhupada is explicitly saying you can, okay, let's go to, he says, you can taste spiritual life even in this material body and taste nectar even in this life, even in this material body. It is possible.
Chapter 14, verse
6.
6.
No, I'm sorry, verse number 20. Verse number 20. 14, 20. There you go. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. Satyabhama, read the purport. It's very nice. It's short.
Sure, Mataji. How one can stay in the transcendental position even in this body in full Krishna consciousness is explained in this verse. The Sanskrit word dehi means embodied. Although one is within this material body, by his advancement in spiritual knowledge, he can be free from the influence of the modes of nature. He can enjoy the happiness of spiritual life even in this body, because after leaving this body, he's certainly going to the spiritual sky. But even in this body, he can enjoy spiritual happiness. In other words, devotional service in Krishna consciousness is a sign of liberation from material entanglement. And this will be explained in the 18th chapter. When one is freed from the influence of the modes of material nature, he enters into devotional service.
So you see how clearly Srila Prabhupada is teaching us that aim for this, my dear spirit souls. You can get out of the clutches of the modes of material nature through this process of bhakti yoga, rise above ignorance and passion, slowly come to the mode of goodness, and from goodness go into transcendence, so that the modes no longer affect us. We are not like puppets, someone comes and triggers us, we lose it, and then that's happening now because we are not fully Krishnaized. We are still grappling with the modes of material nature, but by practicing this process, one can rise above the modes of material nature and come to the platform of transcendence. See how powerful bhakti yoga is?
Thank you. Thanks, Mataji. Seems like Scarlet Mataji have had a surgery, so we'll pray for you, Scarlet Mataji. Hope you feel better soon.
Yes, please take good care and take all the medicines properly. Make sure you're eating and drinking enough nourishment. You're getting enough nourishment because that's also important. And follow all the instructions so you make a good recovery. Wish you all the best. So we have Vishwapamani, we have Swaha, we have Balaji Prabhu, Scarlet, Sakshi, Jag and Bhadra. We have Dr. Sheshni, Raj, Shilpesh, Satyabhama, and myself. It's a lot of people.
Yes.
So go ahead and shoot your questions, share your realizations, or hurl your criticisms, whatever.
So I have, while we have, devotees are thinking still, I want to ask you, Mataji, is how important is preaching, Mataji? Because I know this movement, our movement is all about preaching. And sometimes, and Krishna himself has said in Bhagavad Gita that whoever, distributes his words to others, preaches glories to others, is most dear to him. But sometimes, because it just, I personally, in myself, I feel like I used to study a lot, but now I feel like I do not have that ability and intelligence left, maybe because of the age or because of my work and my life, how it's been folded because of my services. It just, I don't have time to read and read as much shastras as I can. And preaching is not possible without doing that. So how important is it for a devotee? Because I've seen in India, like my grandparents, my grandmothers, they were like very nice devotees. They all spent their life serving Lord. So, and I'm sure they are in the better position now. So I'm sure there is a way. I just wanted to get your view on that.
Well, I've heard Guru Maharaj say this when, you just like you, there are others who present their issues. And to some of the ladies, Guru Maharaj has bluntly told them, give up your job.
I know.
You don't need to work, so much. Try for something else or, do something. And Krishna will take care of you. And he will. If you surrender to the orders of Guru Maharaj, which is Krishna himself, you will be taken care of. And I'm not saying this to glorify, Soumya Dhatri Mataji and embarrass her, but she is a single mother. She is a single mother. And she has a mentally challenged, now he's grown up. He is a little mentally challenged child. He's now a grown up man, but it was like difficult for her. She had to manage so many things. But at one point in her life, Guru Maharaj said, give up your job. Now imagine a single mother with a not totally handicapped, somewhat, a little mentally challenged, but disabled enough to not be able to earn his own way, maybe something small like that. She took those orders so seriously, she gave up her job. And she says, I don't know how, but Krishna is taking care of both of us. See, that takes faith. And she made that leap of faith and became so dear to Gurudev because of her wonderful exemplary service to Gurudev. And you know how, she's a great devotee. She's very humble. She will never say anything. But the way she has served Guru Maharaj is just exemplary. I have no doubts that because of that seva, she is going back to Godhead. And now she's here in Mayapur.
Oh, wow.
The son is over there in Slovenia. Krishna is taking care of both of them. Guru Maharaj told her to come to Mayapur. She followed that order also. And Krishna is taking care of her. Krishna is taking care of her son. And everything is going on. So, we have to understand that the spiritual master is not here to mollycoddle us or to patronize our material inclination, but to pull us out of the clutches of Maya. It takes gallons of blood to pull one disciple out of Maya. And Guru Maharaj is shedding that blood for us. So we have to take what Guru Maharaj says seriously and follow the orders. Of course, he will not give those kind of orders if he sees that we are not ready to follow, because that will be Guru Aparadh. So we must at least be willing, no? If we are not willing to get out of the clutches of material nature, hey, we are just going to get another birth. What can anyone do? What can the spiritual master do? He's trying, but you are not willing. See, spiritual life is like this. We are in the well. Spiritual master throws down the rope. But spiritual master is hauling you up, but you are also supposed to try to climb up the rope. Not just, say, Guru Maharaj, you do all the work. You see? So, therefore, association of devotees, reading the scripture and following the orders of the spiritual master, essential for us to keep moving through the stages of bhakti. Because Adho Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, then what? Anartha Nivritti. And that we cannot do alone. Consistently following the orders of Guru Maharaj is the only way to move forward through that phase. And that is like a vast Siberian desert, Anartha Nivritti. I cannot tell you how many bitter pills I've had to swallow, and I'm still swallowing that Guru Maharaj gives, because I know he's my only well-wisher. In this material world, there is no other well-wisher than the pure spiritual, pure devotee of the Lord, the spiritual master, because he has no personal motivation, only love for his disciple to get out of the clutches of Maya and go back to the spiritual world, which is our spiritual inheritance. We are sons and daughters of a very rich man, Krishna. We have forgotten that, and we are loitering in this material world like that prodigal son living with pigs, living in filth, eating crap, until we remember who we are and what is our legacy, and try to make our way back to that place. Who's going to help us with that? Only the spiritual master. So if we reject that help, heaven help us. Who is the spiritual master? He's Krishna, come in his most merciful manifestation down to this miserable material world to save us. So it's a very serious business. Spiritual life is very serious, and we have to take it very seriously.
Thank you, Mataji. That was very nice answer. Thank you. That's very helpful. I'll think about
Thank
it.
you for listening
Thank you.
patiently and not throwing
No.
brickbats at me.
Oh God, never do that. Not in my dream even. Thank
Raj
you.
is getting ready to throw. He's got a sack full of
Raj
brickbats.
Prabhu, yes. Go ahead.
He loves doing that.
I will only throw flower petals. Ship. I have heard that sometimes it's not all about that we're not doing enough in devotional service, but more often than not, we are holding back, we are resisting too much. Sometimes we're resisting knowingly, sometimes we're resisting and holding back subconsciously, and sometimes even unconsciously.
Right?
Have you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, there is a saying, Krishna doesn't see what you're giving with one hand. He's seeing what you're holding back and hiding behind your back with the other hand. We're all doing that. We're all doing that. Every one of us is guilty of doing that because we are so inured to our way of thinking, to our attachments, to our pet ideas about how we want to live life. But spiritual life is not about me. It is about Krishna and following his instructions. You have to set aside our own, pet theories, pet ideas, pet whatnot, whatever ideas we have, and say, Shishyasteham sadhi mam tvam prapadnam. I don't know what I'm doing, Krishna, anymore. Please help. Now I am your disciple, surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. I have done this so many times and I've gotten nowhere. Please help me get off this merry-go-round and come back to you.
Okay. There's no easy solution then. It's like we have to do the opposite of what we've been fed, all the lies that we've been fed and fed ourselves throughout our lives and previous lives. Like the ultimate lie is like, well, one of them is like, we endeavor for pleasure to make ourselves happy, but it only makes us miserable. Only when we endeavor for Krishna's pleasure can we be happy.
right? And we need that reminder, exactly what you said, again and again and again. Not just daily, every hour, if possible. That's why we need to hear. That's why hearing is so important. Constantly, we must be tuned in. If you're driving, we must have Prabhupada or Gurudev's tape playing. We must hear Kirtan. Constantly, the Kirtan, something must be going in the ear, because the material energy will otherwise try and keep whispering in our ear the opposite things. In school, the nuns would say, the devil is sitting right next to your ear, whispering wicked things into it.
Thank you. Thanks, Mataji. Raj Prabhu, do you have any comment?
No, I'm fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Raj Prabhu. There is a comment from Sakshi Mataji, and I think she's reminding us Nityananda's name is Nityam Anandam, which is always happy. He's always happy giving Krishna to others. So thank you, Sakshi Mataji, for a very nice note. Beautiful.
Yes, Lord Nityananda, Premananda Sukhi. We sing every morning. Aha Prabhu Nityananda, Premananda Sukhi. Kripa balo kana karo, ami bodo dukhi. Please. Oh, that's Shashidhar. Okay.
Shashidhar, sorry, apologies for that.
And actually, we can only be happy giving Krishna to others. This is the only way to be happy. There's no other way to be happy, because this way we are connecting to the source of pure happiness, Krishna. There's no other way to be happy except through devotional service.
Thank you. Thanks, Mataji. So I think we have completed 1 hour, over an hour. So we'll close the call now. Thank you so much, Mataji, again and again, for your time and association, for enlightening us with such a nice class on separation. And we hope you have all taken few points from this. Very nice, and we will learn something from this session. Thanks. Panchakalpa tarubhescha kripa sindhubhevcha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Thank you so much for kindly tolerating me. Please pray for me to become a better devotee. And